Hey, and just a quick reminder that the audio-only versions of these Vital MX interviews are available on the Vital MX podcast page. Search for it anywhere you get your pods and let your friends know about it. What's up, guys? Dark Side here again for Vital MX. Today, I have Cycle Zone KTM's owner, Jeff Crutcher, on the line. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, man. So no lie, I was really confused as to whether we were doing Vital, we were doing Moto X Pod, or we were doing Pulp MX. Dude, you're very, not spread thin, but you're all over the place. You got your fingers dipped in everybody's soup.
Hey, I'm trying to grow the brand, right? I mean, trying to get my foot in the door, and it finally worked. Michael Lindsay hired me full time. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but it seems to be working.
That's awesome, dude. You know, as you know, I'm a big fan of ML's. He's been so solid for me in my program. I've spent countless hours just bothering him, you know.
He loves it.
As a, you know, a new team principal of an operation that's getting into Supercross, I've been, just making Michael's phone bling regularly, just asking him, full disclosure, I just ask him, hey, where did you screw this up at? Like, what lesson did you learn that I can take and apply? And dude, he has given me just absolute nuggets of gold that, I thoroughly have implemented into my outfit. And he's been a very valuable adversary to me, as a man, and then also as operations with the race team.
That's great. What was his answer? Where did he screw it up?
I think Michael's pretty open about this.
Yeah,
the one thing that's most important that he stressed to me is not necessarily staying in my lane, but being good or actually being great at what I'm good at. And on the heels of that, not biting off more than I can chew. We've seen it so many times, these flash in the pan teams that come in blazing saddles, and then it seems like, a season and a half, and then they just, disappear into the ether. And I really, really, really do not want to be that guy, that team, that type of, flash in the pan in the industry. I'm in this for the long haul. And one of the things that Michael really stressed to me, again, is not biting off more than I can chew, meaning don't grow so fast that I can't manage both expectations and realities. And that, there's a lot more nuance in that him and I have gotten into, but, for the most part, just don't grow too fast. And like I said, be great at what you're good at. And what I'm good at is content and social media, networking and marketing. I'll be the first to tell you right now, I like being a manager in charge of other people I didn't set out to be the boss. I set out to do something different that I'm not saying no one has ever done before, but no one has ever put this spin on what it is that I'm trying to do. I am a really big fan there's a book that I have that's called The E-Myth. E is an entrepreneur. And this book's written by Michael Gerber, and he is a really big, we'll call him a business coach. The man has done many magical things, but the E-Myth in Gerber way is essentially to understand what it is that you sell. And as a race team, or actually let me back up, to an average fan or to a guy that's in a moto that is not super plugged in, well, I'm sure they think that a race team sells results. A race team sells performance. And that's very easy, from an armchair perspective of a guy to sit and look at our race team and say, oh, well, they got these riders because they need results because, Duvall, we use the Duvall X shot, the whole shot, device.
Mm-hmm.
It's a performance product. But what we bring to Duval is much more than just getting hole shots. Are we looking for hole shots? Yes, absolutely. But the content that we're able to build around them, their brand, their device, their product, their whole, reason for being, that's what it is that, I'm focused on. So in all reality, we're a content team that goes racing. And like, yes, we're out there for results, because the better results, the better content we're going to be able to generate. But the thing is that like, it's really not what most people think that it is, because of that, because it's not, we're not leaning on those performance, even though in this instance, we're speaking of Duval, even though they're a performance product company, what we offer them is attention.
Yeah.
So now I don't mean our attention, although they all of our partners have as much attention as we are capable of giving them as a 4-man team. But what it is that I sell, and what it is that the E-Myth and Michael Gerber's thought process has helped me understand. And I'll give you 2 examples here. FedEx, for example, you go to the FedEx store, you buy a shipping label, you put your stuff into a FedEx box, a FedEx agent, handles your transaction. Now, what is it that FedEx is selling? Well, FedEx is selling a service. What they're selling you is tomorrow, because you need that package there tomorrow. And that's what their guarantee is. So they're selling the guarantee of the service, to be tomorrow. Another example is McDonald's. And this one's really easy for people to wrap their head around, because, well, it's easy. McDonald's sells cheeseburgers. McDonald's sells French fries. McDonald's sells the best original taste Coca-Cola. And while that's all true, that's what you get in your transaction. What it is that you're really buying from McDonald's is speed, because you know that whenever you go to McDonald's, you're going to get your food fast. And that's what their reputation is built off of. It's fast, it's consistent. Whether it's consistently good or consistently bad, is kind of in the eye of the beholder. But The point is that McDonald's does, their utmost number one thing that business sells is speed. Well, I take I look through the same lenses of, what is my purpose? What can I be great at? What is it that we sell? And we sell other people's attention. So through social media, marketing, one-on-one interactions, fan interactions, doing appearances, content creation, everything that is built around being a content team, what we do is we generate stuff for people to pay attention to us. And then we take that attention and then we slide our partners, products, services, etc., into our content. And that's the name of the game. That's showbiz at that point. We're talking about, commercial enterprise, not just being a race team that shows up on Saturday night trying to get first place with our athletes. Are we doing that? Yes, we are. But we have to create the content built around that lifestyle and the, going to the races and being at the races and the lifestyle of being racers and, team principal, mechanic, whatever. All of the stuff that we do is cool to look at. And people pay attention to us, and we take that attention and essentially sell it to the highest bidder. And that's what it is that I'm great at is that. And circling back to, the note that I made about Michael telling me to be great at what I'm good at, and understanding what it is that I sell and what my purpose is in this realm is exactly that, is taking other people's attention and selling it to our partners.
I love that you dove right into that, because I have some notes on this. I kind of did some research, checked out some old interviews with you, and that's absolutely the vibe I got from you, is that that's who you are, is making sure that the people you work with have the presence and that you understand what they do. I watched the interview you did with Michael Antonovich, I think last year, and you were really, really deep into understanding what your sponsors do. And I want to get into that in a minute, but I want to back up just for a minute with the team, right? How did you start the Arena Cross team in 2020? Is that right?
It would have been in 2019 is when I first launched it. So we are in our third season of operation, and it was so the butterfly that flapped its wings. This will be a little bit drawn out, but hey, we're on a podcast. Let's talk. Bring it. So I was working at FedEx Express at the time, and I was a 7-digit employee to a Fortune 100 company. And I knew that. But in trade for my time and effort and my physical well-being, because, it's an extremely physical job, they paid me handsomely. They gave me a 401k with 75% company match. I had a pension. My health insurance cost me $6 a week for myself and my girlfriend. I mean, I was riding the gravy train on biscuit wheels financially to FedEx.
Yeah.
But eventually it caught up to me whenever FedEx started playing around with our pension, and new hires were not qualifying for it. Now, this is, we kind of have to, roll the clock back on that also. So whenever Yellow, the freight company, they were union, they had Teamsters. Whenever they were unable to fulfill the obligations of their pension, and Congress had to step in because they stopped letting new hires contribute to the company pension. We've already been down this road. I knew what the writing on the wall was. I mean, this is, a long time ago, but that's a freight company. FedEx was an airline company. It's essentially, delivering, a service. I knew where this was going, and we had a regional director come in and he held a meeting and did not introduce himself. It was his accord that we, as his employees, even though I never met this man before in my life, it was his accord that we were supposed to know who he was. So he did not introduce himself, started barking off about his trucks, his numbers, his workers, his this and that. And then he started talking about our pension and how they were going to change our pension. And they were not going to change his pension, but they were going to change our pension. And I that's where I realized this whole Fortune 100 thing, and like, would it be nice to retire as a millionaire? Yeah, it would. And that was practically a guarantee if things would have been the way that they were while I was there, and they wouldn't have been changing it. But I knew that they were going to change and roll that pension in the 401k. Because of that, I was like, dude, I got to get out of here. Like before this gets bad and I become, like I was already an angry person because of my workplace. It was a fantastic job, not a great company.
Right.
And so I was mad a lot. I was uncomfortable. I was always physically hurt from the job. And I just was like, dude, I got to do something else. So at the time, I was doing my sticker business, which goes by the name of Rip and Ruts, which is just custom motocross graphics and logos, social media packages, et cetera, so on down the line. I knew that if I wanted to go full time with it, I could, but the timing wasn't right. And in 2019, we had COVID.
Sure.
And dude, I don't know. Maybe I've got my timing off here. Dude, okay, so hold on. Let's see. This is 22.
Yep. It was early 20.
This is 22. Yeah. So we started racing last year at 21, and then last year, so 20. No, you're correct because yeah. So this was 2020.
Okay.
So in 2020 of February is when we had this meeting. I had a week of vacation scheduled. My dad and I went to Costa Rica and we rode adventure bikes all around the countryside. I had a great opportunity to just sit on the KTM 1090 and tour one of the most beautiful countries on earth and just think. And I thought that whole time, what do I want to do with myself? And there's never a good time to quit your job. There's never a good time to start your own business. There's never a good time to be financially liable. So I said, screw it. As soon as I get home, I'm handing in my 2 weeks. And sure enough, I did. And 2 weeks later, I went full time with my sticker business and just jumped in feet first. Now, the wild thing about me is I'm third party. I don't do any of my printing, cutting, or shipping. I have other people handle that for me, so that I'm not geographically stuck in any location. So with Rip and Ruts in the sticker business, let's not say that I had free time, but I was more available to control my time. And I raced all that summer. And then as summer started wrapping up, I was kind of looking around like, man, I've raced arena cross a lot before in my life. And I focused on arena cross, not supercross, because I'm in the Midwest. It gets cold early. There's no supercross tracks around Kansas City. For me to have been a supercross athlete, I would have had to have left home. The timing was never right. I was either in it and hurt, or not in it and so
Yeah.
it just never added up to where I raced supercross. So I was always focused on arena cross. I was like, dude, I know I can cut up a rug on a 4-lane track. Maybe I ought to do this. And by this, I mean, at the time, the Hoosier Tire Arena Cross Nationals. And I spoke with Jay, the promoter of the series, and we developed a plan. He was going to help me afford the racing, and I was going to run his social media. And then there's another pro rider from Kansas City here, Brandon Yates. And I called Brandon. I was like, hey, dude, you got a Husky 250F. I got a KTM 250F. Let's go do all these Hoosier races. I'm going to take care of everything that I can, and we'll just start a team. And Brandon's like, okay, what do I need to do? I was like, well, I got a pickup truck. I don't have a van. You've got a high top Ford Transit van. That'll be your investment into the program. We take your van. I pay for everything. I provide every part that I can, and it's just kind of, it's on me, and I'll get you kitted. At the time I was with Fox. I'll get you kitted head to toe. We'll go racing. And Brandon bought in, and more or less, Jamie, it was just being like, I'm going to do this because I don't know what else to do with myself. I was working for myself. I didn't have any responsibility owed to a company. And I realized, hey, you know what? This will actually be good for my graphics brand. I'm going to make the wildest graphics possible. I'm going to do this extremely loud. I'm going to do it better than anybody ever has in our series. And hopefully it's a slam dunk. If nothing else, it's a shot at the goal. And it ended up being great. I won a heat race at the first round, my very first heat race of the year. I ended up pulling the whole shot and just rode a smart race and won that heat race. That's the only one that I've ever won in Hoosier Arena Cross. And then in the first 250 main, I got a 5th, which was also my best finish. So I came out of the gates just guns blazing and ended up finishing the season out 5th in points. Brandon got hurt halfway through, so he wasn't able to finish the season. But the learning curve that I went through of, being responsible for someone else. I mean, that was something very new for me, and being contractually obligated to deliver, and knowing that, like, in this industry, because it's so small, your reputation is everything. Mm-hmm. And you can have one of 3 reputations. You can have, that guy doesn't follow through. That guy follows through, or that guy over delivers. And when you're the guy that over delivers, word gets around quickly and people want to work for you. Your phone gets hot. We always hear about these, privateers that are sitting around like twiddling their thumbs on the woe is me program of like, man, if only I this, or if only I had that bike, or if I could just find a sponsor. Bro, they're out there. It's not hard to find if you get your shit together and act like a professional. What is it? It's like setting intentions creates manifestation. I mean, it's so much of it is just your thought process and where you put yourself mentally. And I put myself mentally in that position of, we've had a couple good sponsors. I had a really good sponsor with ATC, which is Around the Clock Fitness. They're based out of Memphis. One of my best friends, Brock, he and his family own the company. They do very well. He had some capital to send our way. So we were ATC Flipside. Flipside is a dual chamber water bottle. It's dry goods on one side. You flip it over and it's wet beverage containment insulated on the other side. Ben took a big chance at Flipside. He took a really big chance on us. He gave me money and like, I knew, I was like, dude, I will never be able to sell. I mean, I'll say this much. The money he gave me came with a comma.
Okay.
And the bottles are $30. And I'm like, dude, like if I sell 100 of these, which is out of the realm of possibilities, and just like by doing what we're doing, that's $300.
Yeah.
No, that would be $3,000. Sorry. But I'm just like, I don't see selling 100 of these. I mean, I'll be lucky to sell 10, in all reality. But what I did do for Ben is I networked him, and I got him dialed in with Maxima, and I got him dialed in with Racetech. And both of those companies fell in love with Ben's product, and they ended up buying them in bulk and having them laser engraved with their logos and sent out to some of their better partners, distributors, customers, friends, family, employees, etc. So Ben's investment, that I got straight up off a cold call. I mean, I had heard of Flipside. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know Ben. I got his contact info and just straight cold called him and talked him into giving me money and within an hour. And I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was talking way too much. I was, it was totally new for me. And like, he was in though, and he was excited about it. But dude, what he got back out of the deal, that's to date my best case study as far as just like pound for pound investment, return on investment. So that was our first season. So a lot of steam moving off of that, and like, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I did a really good job with the series Instagram and social media, and they're doing press releases and emails for them and championing it through my channels and really upping the level of it. And then with my race team, through the help of Cycle Zone, we doubled down. The first year, I had a 250F that I purchased, and then the next year, Cycle Zone really invested in the team and helped me out a lot. And we have, we got some motorcycles, and then we last year we hired Drake Bailey, who is an extremely talented guy out of Southern Illinois. He's kind of an unknown guy. Never was the only real. I mean, he's done Minios and he's done Lorettas. Mm-hmm. To no great accolade by any means, but extremely talented, kind of flown under the radar, kind of a budget racer. But he came at recommendation to me from Carter Stevenson. And then I had Dylan Cloyd, who raced Amsoil Arena Cross for several years. And Dylan's from Omaha. And I knew Dylan not super well, but I did, I've been around Dylan a handful of times, and I knew how professional he was. And he spent a lot of time with Dave Antelak's Tough Racing Honda team. So Dylan had been on a team before. Drake was kind of the new kid on the block, and then myself being the crusty old veteran. But I got to run that national number 5, and it was. But I hired both of those guys to be better than me, and I was taking care of them and their motorcycles. And last season, I ended up getting 7th overall. I think my best main event finish, I think I got a pair of 6ths in Springfield. Love that track. Love the whoops there. Just a big fan of that event, that venue that it's at. And so I was in the right mindset. Now, at the second race of the weekend last year, I had a major collision with a really good buddy of mine, John Barry. And I was just better in the whoops than John was, and I caught up to him. And then there was a left-hander right after that had a huge bowl, a lot of momentum coming through this bowl. And in arena cross, as we know, it's tight. You got to close the door. Don't care if it's your best friend, your teammate, or your worst enemy. You got to close the door to secure a position. And 2 things happened. I came into the corner, and my front wheel actually skidded. So I slowed down significantly more than John, because John knew that I was going to pass him. Mm-hmm. And coming in, I skidded. And so I was further back than he realized. He cut down to try to go underneath me, which was a really wise move. But what he didn't realize is where I was at in the corner until after he made his cut down. And we had a really big collision, and I got underneath him with my right arm, which ripped my throttle open. And then both of us went off of the face of the triple into this rhythm section. I managed to stay on the bike literally by miracle. I mean, I should have tumbled halfway down the stadium floor. John, however, went flipping, and I managed my way through the rhythm section. I turn around. His bike is in the lane that I'm in, the wrong lane, and he's laid out on the track. And I'm like, dude, I just killed my friend. Oh. This sucks.
Yeah,
dude.
terrible.
And it hit me like a brick wall. And like I said, dude, I don't know if I told you this, but I'm 34. And this incident happened last year. I was 33. Dude, I had been there, done that so many times over. I don't have that juice, that the aggro that's required to race arena cross. I don't have that anymore. And especially not whenever I'm responsible for 2 other racers, and all of our partnerships, and the transportation, and the mechanicking, and the PR, and the social, and the everything that comes with being a one-man show. And it's like, there's too much risk here. Mm-hmm. For me to be on this racetrack. There's too much risk. After the race is over, John came over and he ripped me a new one. And you know what? Rightfully so, because he didn't know what happened. We're racing, and then all of a sudden I'm underneath him and he goes flipping off of the track. It wasn't intentional. I didn't try to take him out. And I made it very clear to him and was extremely apologetic. And dude, after the race, I sat down and just put my coat over my head. And I was like, I don't know, I felt like an ostrich just burying my head in the sand. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And my dad was at that race and we talked about it. And I'm like, what do I do, dude? This is really tough. He was like, well, you know what? You signed yourself to race for this team. And he didn't really have to say anything else, beyond that. Right. Because I had an obligation to the team to race for it. And although I had all the other obligations, that was also one of them. And again, I'm not going to be the guy that under delivers. I'm not going to not follow through. However you want to say that, that's double negative. But the point is I was like, dude, I got to do this. I made my bed, and frankly, I'm going to have to lay in it. And I'm going to have to ride to the best of my ability, even though my mindset wasn't there. I have to earn points for this team. I have to be out there in every main event. And I was. And it was a struggle for me, dude. It was so hard. It's indescribable how hard it is to go out and do that form of racing with the amount of aggression required. I mean, arena cross is practically a contact sport. And with all of the weight of everything else that was on my shoulders, it wasn't unbearable, but I knew that something had to change. So that's where, as soon as the season was over, Dylan got 4th overall. I was 7th. Drake actually ended up breaking his hand at the Kansas City round. And then I hired Brandon Walther to fill in for the remainder of the series. And the last 2 rounds, or the last 2 weekends, are double points. So that's 4 nights of racing at double points, which is essentially 8. It's like, racing in 8 main events. Brandon went out and collected a couple podiums, did extremely well, extremely talented racer. Great kid, really loved having him around. And he ended up, just by racing 4 nights, ended up getting 8th overall. So we had all 3 of the Cycle Zone KTMs were in the top 10 in year-end points. We got some podiums with Brandon. He won a couple Dash for Cashes. Dylan was a threat for the podium every single time, and just 2 times was in 3rd and had just swirly stuff happen to him that, happens in arena cross. So, that kind of set the stage for this year of, as soon as arena cross was over, I knew that I'm like, dude, arena cross is awesome. I love it. It is where my heart is at. But I also know that if I want to grow, we got to race with a team to compete in Supercross. And circling back to not biting off more than I can chew, one could point, or I could sit here and point and say, well, let's get better at what we're good at. Let's win this arena cross championship and focus on that. But then I realized, well, for me to bring in talent that's going to be able to win this arena cross championship, they're going to be Supercross main event talent riders, because we got to go against the likes of Michael Hicks, Michael Lessie, Carter Gordon, I'm trying to think, Grant Harlan. So obviously, like, we're not playing around. These are extremely talented, very, very fast. I mean, just assassins on motorcycles that we're up against. And I have to bring in guys that are of that, a cut of the same cloth, in order for us to win. And if we're going to do that, well, they're Supercross ready guys. So let's race Supercross. So that was my mindset. And my expectations for this year, I would like to see both of my athletes on the podium at the end of the season. In points, I would like to see both of my athletes on the podium in any given night, which I know we're inching towards our last main event in DuQuoin at the last race we did in the what is now General Tire Arena Cross. Mm-hmm. Cheyenne got 2nd or 3rd, I can't remember, and then Carter was 4th. Carter Bees, who is my other rider, he got his best main event finish, and Cheyenne Harmon.
Yeah, I know Cheyenne well.
And so, we're chugging along and building steam, and kind of going back to your initial question of how did it start. I wanted to kind of give the full gamut there of where it started, where it's at now, and then what we're leading into with Supercross.
Yeah. So what is the full plan for 23 then? What's the team? What is?
So we're going to do Supercross East in the 250 class, Cheyenne and Carter.
Yep.
Both will be competing in 250 East. We will miss the first round in Houston because that is the same weekend as the final round of the General Tire Arena Cross Outlaws, which is in Memphis. And the series pays damn well every night. And it pays very well at the end of the season, especially to the top 3. And I expect both of them to be within that money. Now, the caveat is, in order to collect your championship winnings, you got to be at the last race.
Sure.
So obviously, we're going to the last race so my guys can collect their money. I'm not going to short them so we can go to Houston and, not be like a fish out of water, but it's going to be my first time operating a team at a Supercross race. And even though I've had my feet wetted a little bit, wrenching and doing, media stuff, and Supercross is no mystery to me. I want to show up, I want to show up with kind of an open mindset, and I'm not going to show up to the first round with an open mindset, knowing that, man, we should have went racing for, so I can get these guys paid for a couple more grand, in Memphis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's the plan. And then additionally, we're going to do one 450 round in Denver. The plan initially was to do Kansas City whenever Feld was, or let's not say Feld, but whenever the rumor had been leaked that we were going to race in Arrowhead. Obviously, that's 30 minutes from my house. I can't not do that event. So I built my entire schedule around that Kansas City round.
Right.
And as we know, that ended up not happening for, who knows, whatever reason. We can throw a dart at the board and, just speculate. But the truth is that it didn't happen, and they put that date in Denver.
Yes.
Well, conveniently, Denver is 7 hours from Cycle Zone, so that's not too much of a jaunt. So we're going to pop in and do one 450 race. Cheyenne has a 23 450 that he will race. And then Carter will just ride his Team 250F in the Premier class.
Okay, that's awesome. I want to jump.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking going from 8 rounds of racing to 17.
Yes.
That's our full schedule. So, it's a full pull. We're full hog. We're all the way in. I know that the Supercross is 17 rounds, and our parsed together season between General Tire Arena Cross and the Monster Energy Supercross is 17 weekends of racing.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. I love this. I want to kind of wrap up with getting back into sponsors, because this is something I was super impressed with when, like I said, I watched the video that Anton did with you. Talking about your sponsors, as you did earlier, how do you sell yourself to a company or your team to a company? And I love kind of how you talked about knowing what your sponsor does, whether it's Wiseco, that was one of the examples you gave with Anton, and really understanding so that you can tell other people why you choose the sponsor and why they're good for you. And I think Just One is on with you guys this year. That's a big deal. So just kind of talk about your sponsor relationships and how you view to give them what they need for helping you.
So, I am a big advocate of choosing my words wisely. And you and I can sit around and we can say, sponsor and know what it is that we're talking about. But it's extremely imperative that, my mindset is I don't have sponsors, I have partners. This operation that I have, this entire outfit, this organization is 100% sponsor funded. For example, before the season this year, let's see, when was it? In like the first week of September, something like that. Mm-hmm. Might have been August. I think I had $1,300 in the race team checking account.
Okay.
Which
baller.
Yeah. What am I going to get with that?
Maybe an exhaust.
Maybe. I think I might be able to get 4 15-gallon pails of ETS MX-18.
Okay.
All right, so I got race gas. What else do I have?
You're right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing is understanding that without them, we don't go do this thing. Without them, we're sitting at home and we're twiddling our thumbs. And the number one thing that is most important, and this is free advice to anyone that is interested in figuring this out, because this is the great mystery. This is, what Tony Robbins would charge you $5,000 to come to his seminar, at the base value of it. What is it that, he's going to tell you that's going to change your life? And I give this away for free because it's so simple. It's so elementary. It's so knuckle dragger, mouth breathing, of course, duh. And it's so easy to go to a partner or a sponsor and simply ask them, what can I do for you? What do you need help with? What is your next objective? What is coming down the pipeline? And all of those things show that you are on board with whatever they got. Okay, so it's so important to start on the right foot. Again, this is where, as I said earlier, your reputation precedes you. And if you are going to, or I do have these conversations with people, dude, they don't know me from Adam. I'm just another, phone number popping up on their phone that's asking for money.
Right,
okay. But
sure.
The easiest way to do it is by starting off on the right foot and explaining yourself or myself is, hey, what can I do for you? What do you need help with? Let's not even talk about money or, product or anything. What's your target? What's your objective? How do you measure success? What is important to you? Where are you going to be in this company in 5 years? Whenever you start to talk multi-year with brand managers and marketing directors and executives, it shows that you're not thinking about getting a buck today. And we see that so much. You've got these guys that are like, oh, bro, we'll slap the logo on the bike. We're going racing, dude. Your company will get exposure, dude. And it's like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Perfect example is, these kids that hit me up that want me to sponsor them stickers because, I'm going to Loretta's. I'm going to Loretta's this year. I'm going to qualify for Loretta's. Oh, okay. So you're going to represent my company to a bunch of other people that also want my product for free. Sure. Yeah. This sounds like a great business plan.
Right.
And then it's always, well, all my friends and family will buy from you. And I'm like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. I have a very easy way to solve this. You buy your first sticker kit. Then for every one of your friends and family or anybody that references you, I will Venmo you $25 upon completion of a sale. They reference you, you get $25. So not only are you going to be able to pay for your kit, but then you're going to start making money. So about all those friends and family that you're going to send my way, tell me more. And it's like, and dude, people stop responding after that.
Yes.
And again, that's just being short-sighted of what can you do for me? Hey, bro, you in this company, your company needs exposure. I'm going to expose you to everybody, dude. We're going to go race, man. And it's like, cool. I go race. I expose my company.
Right.
And let me tell you something. When I'm sitting at the motocross track, and a bike passes by, not even on the track. Let's say I'm sitting in my pits and a bike passes by, first gear, idle speed, like you're supposed to do in the pits. I don't even know what sprocket he's got on there. The bike's moving. I can't even see the sticker on the swing arm. He's 15 feet away from me. I don't know if he's got super sprox, Mika, Renthal, whatever. I can't read that. He's moving too fast. The bike's going too fast. It's like, so tell me how you going racing is going to pay my, what my investment is. And it's, so that's the thing is this whole industry is built on the bro flow and like getting free product just because I'm fat. I exist, or what is it? I'm fast, therefore I deserve, is the mentality. Whereas for me, it's like, dude, I ain't shit. I'm a local A rider. At this point in my career, I'm a local A rider. Like in the realm of things, am I good at riding dirt bikes? Yes, I am. But like by comparison to Grant Harlan, dude, I'm nothing. And so it's like, what do I have to offer? Well, it ain't speed, that's for certain. So I just looked at the equation of what can I do for EVS. We'll use EVS as an example. EVS is really big in content marketing. They also are a global company. They sell an American brand globally. Okay. So whenever guys are buying knee braces in Germany or elbow pads in Venezuela or, race collars in Australia, whenever the content that EVS is putting out of, as we all know in America, in motocross, America is like the leading edge of the sword. We're not going to get into who's faster, whatever, it doesn't matter, but the industry is here. And so EVS takes this American race team content that we put out, and being, this operation that we deliver thousands of dollars worth of digital assets to them at the beginning of the year and then throughout the rest of the season that they then distribute to all their importers, to all of their stockists, to their catalog builder, to their distributors. And it's all digital assets that are released, ready to use in full high definition. Okay. So the thing is like without us, EVS doesn't get that content. So they're having to pay somebody. Well, I mean, obviously we have a very good partnership that works. It's very beneficial in both directions. But they got to pay somebody to do it. And I know they need photos. So gee dang it, let's supply them photos and let's give them good photos that they'll be proud of.
Yeah.
Okay. So and now like at this point, now what are we selling here? Are we selling knee pads? Yeah, we're selling knee pads, but how? Through a lifestyle, through the American motocross racer lifestyle. And so, that's the kind of stuff where, dude, it's never just slap the logo on the bike, use the product, tell my friends and family. Our partnership with EVS is built around full definition photography that they then distribute out to their people that sell product, their product, like I said, they're stockists, they're importers, they're distributors. And that trickles down throughout everybody, dude. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. It's like, what do you need that no one else can provide for you or I can provide at a better quality at a lower cost? We're partnered with Bel-Ray. Obviously, Bel-Ray, as we all know, legendary products. They are a household name in motocross. I think that every motocross racer in America has a tub of Bel-Ray grease somewhere in their garage. It is a common product that everybody uses.
Yep.
So what's our partnership with Bel-Ray? Well, here's the thing. CycleZone at the dealership, CycleZone has a service center. The service center at CycleZone, I mean, bro, this is a well-oiled, literally, machine. And every single unit that comes in there for service, obviously they're trying to sell oil changes. Oil changes are a good way for a service center to make a few extra dollars. So they got to put oil. They got to put oil in the bikes. They got to put oil in the quads. They got to put oil in everything that comes in there. Well, I happen to be partnered with an oil company who manufactures 55-gallon drums at 10W40. Let me get you connected with them. Okay, so this is network marketing at this point. So I'm saving CycleZone money by getting a preferred rate, and I'm moving oil in 55-gallon quantities for Bel-Ray. But also we're lubricating, pun intended, we're lubricating Parts Unlimited because that's who we have to buy the oil from. So this is the thing, dude, is it's like, it's not just we're pouring the oil on the bikes and spraying the filter, treatment onto the filters, and we got 6N1 on our pivots. And like, yeah, dude, no, we're doing all of that. And we're going racing with Bel-Ray. We love their product. It is a top shelf, top tier, name brand, high quality product. But we're also putting 55-gallon barrels, with our dealers. And by the way, any dealer that's listening to this right now, be sure to check with your Parts Unlimited rep, because Bel-Ray has a special, I believe, through December 22nd on 55-gallon drums for $100 off.
Fantastic.
Let me tell you, hey, Darkside, let me tell you how I know that. I asked. I
Right.
said, hey,
Yes.
Cody Wolf at Bel-Ray, what do you got going on? What can I help you with? And it's, dude, he relays me the spec sheet, the PDF on that program. And it's not like CycleZone's not the only dealership that I know. I know a lot of people that own and operate dealerships. I send them that deal like, bro, I know you're using oil. I know you're using oil. Check this out. We got 55-gallon drums, $100 off through the month of December through Parts Unlimited. And I love Parts Unlimited. I love my local Parts Unlimited rep, Nick Spooner. He's a fantastic guy. If I can take care of Nick in any direction, I'm going to, because he's helped me. Okay, so we're helping CycleZone, we're helping Bel-Ray, we're helping Parts Unlimited as a corporation, and Nick's getting his cut on the purchase also. So are we a race team or are we a networking team at that point? And so this goes back to your initial question of what is it that I do for these sponsors, and I have to go back and continue saying, start out by saying, what can I do for you? What do you have going on? What is your promotion? What are you pushing? And if you ask that, dude, the leaps and bounds that you will get ahead in our industry is massive. Now, once you get endemic and we start talking out of industry, it is approached a little bit differently, and it's a whole entirely different ball game than motocross. But many of the techniques and many of the the ideas and operations are very similar. Whenever I go to marketing departments, marketing directors, CMOs or whoever it is that I'm working with that's out of industry, one of the things that I do is, and I'm not patting myself on the back here, but this is a little technique that works for me, is, again, I'm not like, am I playing the role as team principal? Yes, I am. Am I playing the role as transport guy? You betcha. Am I fulfilling all mechanic duties? Yeah, for Cheyenne and Carter during the week, and then I have a mechanic in Irvie for the weekends for Carter. But dude, I've got all these hats that I'm doing. Am I hacking it? No, I'm good enough to get by, to pass for pro grade, but that's not what I'm good at. What I'm good at is content. I'm good at marketing. And so whenever I go to these companies, these brands, these directors, these people in the marketing offices, the first thing I do is I ensure that we all lay our swords down and say, hey, listen, this is not a give and take. This is not a buy and sell. We are of the same grain. Well, our grain is going in the same direction here. I am a marketing guy. I'm a content guy. I'm an influencer. I am not a sales guy. I am not a CEO. Although I do have autonomous control over this operation, let's disarm. Let's not even worry about the negotiation process. Let's figure out where our lines are parallel and where we can both succeed in the the KPIs that are extremely important to us. Let's do that, and we speak the same language, and we think the same way, the same creative way, and figure out, okay, how do we extrapolate and extract and enhance everything that we do? How do we do this together? And that's by working as a team, as partners. Once again, as partners. That's so imperative. And it makes the whole process much easier, because there's not this, okay, I'm going to try selling you high, you're going to bid low, we got to find somewhere in between, we got to shed these deliverables, and you got to come up on this end, and I need more of that. Like, dude, just going in and, again, disarming, it makes everything so much easier by just saying, hey, I'm on your team. I speak your language. We're cut of the same cloth. Let's do our marketing thing. We'll worry about the money later. We'll get to that point, and we can do the admin later. But right now, let's do some dreaming, and let's figure out how we're going to crush this project for your company through our channels. it's one of the most satisfying things that, I've ever done is this race team and cooperating with people and building steam together. I mean, my God, Jamie, I didn't know that this is what it was that I was supposed to be doing is, these kinds of networking collaborations and co-operations. I don't know. Yeah, it's a collaboration. Cooperation is just everything, dude. I mean, it's so satisfying. And then, the real payoff is whenever it's Friday night, the lights are on in the building and they turn off. And then we got Doug Neff, the arena cross announcer, and he's like, Cheyenne Harmon on number 18 cycles on KTM. And I'm sitting there like, yes, dude, with flames and smoke and lasers and AC/DCs going on over the top of the stereo. And we got our little opening ceremonies. And, I'm just like motocross fanboy number one. I'm like, I can't believe it. This is the coolest job in the world. How did I steal this? I like it's imposter syndrome. Hope nobody finds out that I'm hacking it, to get here. But like, that's where it's just like, dude, this is the coolest thing in the world. There's no luck involved. I'm going to be honest. There's no luck involved. There's a lot of determination. There's a lot of drive. There's a lot of sweat, sleepless nights, 3-hour sleep nights. I mean, I am not a believer in grinding. I am a believer in working smart and working hard. I don't like grind mentality. I think that's extremely that has the lifespan of a bottle rocket. And I'm thinking, marathon. So I don't grind, I don't like to have the reputation of being one of those hustle hard, do work, like we're going to grind. That's so tacky and cheesy. I don't have the haircut for that. My thing is, dude, it's like, let's think big picture here. Let's build steam every weekend, every race, every day, every post, every email, every phone call. Let's figure each other out better and better and better and make this thing a well-oiled money-making machine to where you and me both feel like we're getting a bargain. Dude. And it's it is a wild ride, and dude, it is, like I said, it is extremely satisfying. And again, going back to the first thing I said of not biting off more than I can chew and do this novel, it is a slow burn. And the wild part is it's also a choose your own destiny novel.
Oh, those are fun.
And the thing is it's, nobody gave me permission to do this. And again, not being big headed here, but like, nobody gave me permission. Nobody told me this was okay. Nobody said, hey, Crutch, you ought to start a race team. I just decided I'm going to do this. It's going to be a challenge. I want this. And no one is going to stop me. No one's going to get in my way. No haters. We got plenty of those. We got a lot of fans too that fuel the fire. Both fuel the fire equally in different ways. And I appreciate both of them. It's so funny, these guys that like, want to talk shit and try and poo-poo on our program and stuff. And it's just like, dude, your envy and jealousy and like trying to cut me down a peg. Do you not realize that like whenever this is the funny thing about trolling and people being negative. It's like, no, I read your comments. I hear you. I see you. I know who you are. But whenever people are negative towards us and towards me and towards the race team, which is all part of it, bro, I'm waking up earlier. I'm going to the gym. I'm working out harder. Yeah. And then I'm going to show up at the race shop more focused, more dedicated to the craft, only to spite you, to live a life. What is it? The best revenge is a life well lived. Yeah. And if that's the case, bro, pour on the hate, because that is atomic fuel for us,
I dig this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, this has been so insightful, man. And I've got to wrap this up because I've got Christian Craig scheduled actually here in about just a couple minutes. But this has been really cool. It has absolutely made me rethink how I want to deal with the people that support me in the Moto X Pod show. I'm going to implement your rules of thumb with that. I am definitely going to readjust how I discuss things with my sponsors and see what I can do for them differently. I love this interview. This was fantastic.
Thanks, man. You know, I mean, that's the thing is like, bro, you know, nobody else can be you. So be the best you that there can be. And, you know, it's really easy in our industry. We have a lot of monkey see, monkey do, a lot of reflection, you know, and I like full disclosure, Jamie, I don't listen to podcasts in motocross. I listen to Formula One podcasts. I listen to NASCAR podcasts. I listen to NFL podcasts. I'm learning the business of true professional sports. I look around at some of the other teams and I'm like, do you guys like, are you guys serious, or are you just burning cash that the energy drink companies are giving you? Like, what are we really doing here? And why are your athletes so squirrely about doing stuff? Like, why are we doing the bare minimum here? And the thing is it's just lack of ownership. It's strictly lack of ownership. And again, you know, the wise words of ML, you know, do great at what you're good at. And so if that's, I mean, the thing is, be the number one Moto X pod guy. It's easy to sit there and be like, oh, I do, you know, DMXS, they're legends. They've been around forever. And Steve's show is just absolutely massive. I can't compete. And, you know, Daniel Blair, I mean, he's so connected. Like, how am I ever going to be able to relay information, you know, the way that he does so accurately? It's like, dude, whatever. Let them be their thing. You know, you be the number one dark side, the number one Moto X pod, the number one you. Nobody can stop you. Nobody's going to give you permission to do it, but nobody can take that away from you either. So I love to hear it, man. I hope that, you know, you and the folks listening can take this and just go to the next level, dude, whatever it is. And, you know, it's like, I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker or anything like that. It's just, this is the way that I think. And I hope that it rubs off on other people. I hope that other people can see, hey, I can take the bull by the horns and I can do whatever I want if I put my mind to it. Again, there's never a good time to quit your job. There's never a good time to make a tough decision. There's never a good time, you know, for any major life decision. But you know, only you are the one that can make it. And it's, I can tell you this much. Once you start writing your own, again, that choose your own destiny book, once you start writing your own ad lib pages, it gets pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I can't wait to meet you face to face, man. I will do that at one of these East Coast rounds, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll be in Dallas, so you know we'll have to link up there for sure.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you for your time, man. This has been awesome.
No problem, dude. We'll talk very soon.